Awareness.
All right, good afternoon. I'd like to thank everybody on Facebook Live for tuning in. The Palladium Times is here with me as well. I'd like to thank them for stopping in today. I wanted to first comment on the reopening for Central New York tomorrow on May 15th. So we're obviously extremely pleased with the position Central New York is now in to be able to reopen. I'd like to personally thank Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon for his leadership, not just in Onondaga County, but for the entire Central New York region. He's been a huge help here to the city of Oswego, to Oswego County, and he's doing a great job being the leader Central New York needs right now at this time to get us through our situation. The numbers, briefly, 2,314 people have been tested as of this morning. 75 total positive cases for Oswego County. 10 of those cases are currently active, and to our knowledge, there's currently 2 active cases here in the city of Oswego. And I'd like to take a moment to thank our local healthcare providers, our government partners, and most of all, members of the public. Our job at the onset, meaning the job of the public, was to flatten our curve and to not overwhelm the local healthcare system. And we did that. The public did their job. It was painful, it was difficult, it's going to continue to be painful and we get until we get totally open. And it damaged and is damaging our local economy. But the public did what we asked of them, and that was to flatten the curve. That wasn't to eradicate the virus, and we're not through with this battle yet, but we did flatten our curve here in Oswego County in Central New York, and that is because of the measures we put in place and how the public obeyed those measures by not traveling, by staying home, by social distancing, by washing hands and taking all the precautions that have been laid out over the last 2 months. So job well done. Thank you. It makes me, again, as I've said, extremely proud to be mayor of this city, to watch the public and Oswego citizens obey these rules. And it's starting to pay off, and we're realizing the fruits of those measures and of our efforts to date. Obviously, good news with the governor's announcement. And that being said, back in April, the city of Oswego put in several measures to stop mass gatherings, to limit travel, and to encourage social distancing here locally. If you remember, back in late March, early April, we closed city facilities, we closed city parks. On April 2nd, I put in the stop the spread, stay at home order for the city of Oswego, which meant no non-essential travel citywide to limit the amount of people in any one area at any one time. And I'd like to think that a lot of the measures we did here on the local level paid off to put our numbers and put our county in a position to be able to reopen for phase one on May 15th, which is the earliest possible date a region in New York State would be allowed to reopen. And I made a pledge when I put in those measures, when we put in that no non-essential travel order, when we closed city facilities, closed parks and playgrounds. I did that because I thought it was necessary, I thought it was appropriate, and I thought it would be beneficial. And when I did that, if you remember, I pledged that I would reopen them as soon as I thought it was safe to do so and responsible. And I think with the Central New York getting the green light tomorrow to hit phase one and start the reopening phase, I think I need to live up to what I pledged and reopen parks, playgrounds, city amenities, and public areas as soon as I possibly could. So that's what we are doing this evening, effective tomorrow at 5 o'clock. City playgrounds, parks, and public amenities will be open. We're going to keep city facilities, so City Hall and city offices will remain closed to the public, but will of course still be operating. At the same time, we're going to continue our code enforcement and Oswego Police Department social distancing enforcement details. So we'd ask that as we open parks and playgrounds, that you still continue to social distance. You still limit your groups to no more than 3 people. You avoid frequently touched hard surfaces, and of course wear masks like we're all encouraging everybody to do here moving forward. The DPW will still be out sanitizing public areas, benches, crosswalks, playgrounds. Quite frankly, having the ability in assigning resources like the police department, like code enforcement, like the fire department, and like DPW cleaning these areas allows us to open the playgrounds and parks and amenities right now. Had we not taken the resources and allocated them to help clean these facilities and patrol and enforce social distancing, we probably wouldn't be in the position to do so. So it truly is a team effort, and I'd like to think the city has done everything we could to A, flatten the curve, and then B, be able to try to return to as much normalcy as possible in these phases when it's appropriate. So well done to the team of city employees, city departments, and city officials. At the same time, we're lifting the stay-at-home, stop-the-spread order that banned now non-essential travel in the city of Oswego. I would ask you to continue limiting your travel and continue to not take the entire family to the store if you have to go to the store. Limit your trips to the store. Try to get only essential items. Don't try to find a reason to go to the store. But we are going to lift that no non-essential travel ban here in the city as people start to return to work and we start to enter the reopening process. We're going to continue to enforce the ban of mass gatherings. So just as we're continuing the social distancing enforcement details, we're going to continue encouraging the public to call in and report any mass gatherings that you may see in your neighborhoods, public areas, including public parks. So, and that's the main message today, really, is as we begin to turn that valve and reopen, and we hit phase one tomorrow and we reopen city playgrounds and parks and we lift that non-essential travel ban, what I don't want people to do is to run out and act like we're back to normal and start behaving as if these are normal times. We are still in the battle. We are still in the middle of this battle against coronavirus, and because we're now having the discussion and moving towards a return to normalcy or going through that reopening process, we shouldn't just go back to how we lived life before this and act like everything's okay. The main objective now at this point is to hit phase 2 and to hit phase 3 and to hit phase 4 moving forward and as early as we can get there in a responsible fashion. And the way we do that is to continue doing what we're doing that got us here to begin with, and also conduct an aggressive, robust testing program to be able to identify the real situation here in Oswego County. So don't let your guard down even as the economy turns on. Don't run outside, don't be reckless, try to continue to be considerate of others and those who are vulnerable in the city of Oswego, and take your own personal safety and the safety of others into account. If we don't do that, and if we just turn and act reckless and try to act as if everything's okay as we start this reopening phase, the fact is you'll harm yourself, you'll harm others, and you'll hurt the data that has allowed us to reopen, and we could miss the next phase when we have to reopen, or could have to close back down. That is the last thing we want. I don't think anybody wants to live through the experience that we just had to endure these last 2 months. So please continue to be cautious and be considerate, and consider the ramifications of your actions and the impact they have on others. We've built, as businesses come back online, we are going to help businesses come back online and understand what's happening and when it's happening, and how businesses can come back online and when the appropriate time to do so is. Just as when everything shut down, I feel the city of Oswego was there to help our local businesses. We're going to be there to help you reopen. We built and launched at 2 p.m. today a revised version of our City of Oswego emergency website. The address is www.cityofoswegoemergencyassistance.org. We've updated all the information for businesses so they can read that information as they reopen. All the criteria, guidelines, recommendations, and protocols that the state have put out have already been uploaded for a one-stop shop type website for businesses to reference and seek guidance. As a reminder, phase 1 is allowing for the reopening of construction, retail, manufacturing, wholesale trade, agriculture. And as these phases roll out, we will directly convey to our business owners here in the city of Oswego the guidelines like capacity regulations to businesses, and we'll give you as much notification ahead of time before you reopen. Phase 1's a bit unique, as some of these businesses were allowed to stay open because they were deemed essential anyway. But what we want to do, and we'll use the City of Oswego Economic Development Office to accomplish this, they are currently becoming well versed in all the guidelines that are taking place now and that will come up in the future as the reopening process continues. As we want to give businesses as much of a heads up as possible before we get the clearance. So today we got the green light clearance to open phase 1 tomorrow. And for manufacturing construction, I don't think that's as big of a challenge as that 1 day or 3 or 4 day notice. But what we want to do is anticipate where we are moving forward and be able to convey to the business owners, like restaurants, like bar owners, when they should expect to be able to reopen, because it'll be a more complex task for them to reopen. They have to call their employees back, they have to order food, they have to rearrange the restaurant to meet capacity regulation. So we want to be at least a week out, or certainly several days out, to feed them that information, give them that notice so that they can adapt and make the changes they need to make, so that the first day they can legally open, they are open and operating. So that's our pledge. I would encourage people to visit the website that I referenced earlier. Also, this number for business owners may come in handy in the next couple of weeks. It's the phone number to our Economic Development Office, 315-343-3795. Nate Emmons, Tim Stahl, they are reading up on all their criteria and will be there to explain the phases, what kind of business is in which phase, and the regulations and protocols that you should expect as your reopening date approaches. So we'll be right there guiding you through just like we were when you closed down. So I'd like to make a point that as I alluded to earlier, tomorrow does not mean the entire region and every business is reopened and everybody should act normal, because that's not the case. Each phase, this is just the first phase, each phase is going to be staggered. There could be anywhere between 10 days to 2-3 weeks between phases. So we're opening phase 1 now. It's a gentle turn of that valve. We'll review the data the next week and a half to 2 weeks before being able to proceed and get the green light from New York State to proceed to phase 2. So you shouldn't just expect a rapid turn of that valve and see these businesses and life return to normal as fast as you may hope. It's going to be scientifically driven, data driven, and that's why it's the slow phased in process, so we can do it responsibly. And if we see the data track in a way that's not favorable, we can easily pull back on that valve and try to correct the numbers and the trends if we have to. We do know that businesses, once you get the green light, will have to submit a safety plan as they reopen. They have to articulate their social distancing plans, the measures to mitigate risks of exposure in the workplace as people return to work. They'll have to read guidelines, which again we've already posted, and you'll have to certify your business with New York State as you reopen. Our economic development team has already read up on this and understands the process here, so if anybody needs assistance, call our economic development office. They can help you. They've worked with the Oswego Fire Department and Chief Griffin to understand the protocols we'll want to see here locally and at the state level, so we can help provide recommendations to you and discuss ways to apply them directly to your business. So we'll be here to help in that capacity as well. A couple quick notes. I think I already mentioned this. City Hall is going to remain closed until at least June 1st. Could continue on. There's no reason to open up City Hall and city offices, particularly when a lot of local businesses are going to remain closed for the next couple weeks. We're trying to lead by example. I don't like how I think optically it doesn't make sense to call city workers back when we've already made the adjustments to work from home. So as these phase 2 and phase 3 businesses come back online, city offices will come online, but you should continue to expect the same level of quality service that you've come to expect here all the time with the city of Oswego, but certainly these last couple of months. Our marina is still going to remain closed till at least July 13th. A simple drive down there, which you're now allowed to do, will easily show why the marina is closed. COVID was one small reason it was closed. The biggest reason is there's a substantial amount of construction going on. That construction is going to ramp up in the next couple of weeks. Quite frankly, it's going to continue to get worse down there through summer, but it's good work. You have approximately $18 million being invested into a small area in Wright's Landing in the International Pier that's going to create for challenging situations. So the boat launch is open and free to use, but the marina is going to remain closed until at least July 13th, probably beyond that even. Lastly, City Hall, the general helpline, you can continue to use that line as City Hall remains closed. Like I said, all the functions, the business that you have to conduct at City Hall is still available and accessible. Feel free to use the City Hall General Helpline, 315-343-4990, to get some direction and guidance while you're conducting your transaction. And lastly, the County COVID Hotline, 315-349-3330. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. As these phases become more clear and the timeline becomes more clear, like I said, we'll be doing these outreaches directly to our business community. I will keep the public informed with more Facebook Live updates, maybe even another town hall in the next week or two. So we'll continue to do our best. Please monitor Facebook. The Facebook page is Mayor Billy Barlow. The City of Oswego website, City of Oswego emergencyassistance.org or oswegony.org, and you can catch our city committee meetings and council meetings on our City of Oswego YouTube channel. So you shouldn't miss a beat, and we'll continue to keep you updated to the best of our ability.